Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Hope everybody is doing well this evening. Happy full moon. Peace to your families. Uh, I had a message that I wanted to share. I was about to go to sleep, but then I was doing some studying, and then I was about to shut my laptop down, go to sleep, and then something said, pull some cards and talk about the cards that you pull. So I said, okay. So the cards that I pulled today or this evening are the Ace of Cups and the Sun. And if you look at these cards, you see the similarity, right? The radiation or the web. The Sun has that same radiation and web. But the Ace of Cups is talking specific to finding your bliss and following your bliss. And I don't necessarily know if that's a thing that people really practice or people fully understand, especially in this world of pleasing people and making sure others see you in a certain way and always meeting people and getting to know people and changing who you are for better or for worse. None of that is establishing inner bliss. However, that could be a pursuit, that could be a game, that could be something that you look forward to, finding my inner bliss and sharing that with the world. I was doing some deep studying, and there's some things that I want to talk about. I'll talk about tomorrow about the past. The past destroys the new, right? And when we think about the new or the future, sometimes we're not as excited as we should be because maybe we're constantly reflecting on our memories. The Ace of Cups is a new beginning, a new emotional beginning, but deeper than emotions, deeper than feelings, you could tap into a level of bliss, a level of tranquility, a level of peace, a level of understanding. Because when you don't understand, the emotions tend to override the spiritual energy that's present. I'll be right back. Followed by the Sun, which I think the Sun is the predominant energy that we tend to focus on and we tend to, for a lack of better words, radiate to or resonate with. But if you were anything like me, you had spent a lot of time wishing and hoping for the things that you didn't know about yourself, wanting positive affirmation, wanting, things without working for them or even knowing what your bliss is. but wanting to share energy, what you're usually sharing is pain. What you're usually sharing is confusion. And when you look at the world today, there's a lot of confusion and misplaced time and energy, because the first part of this game, having a true sight on your inner bliss, having a true sight on your intuition, and knowing that you're going to follow that over making someone happy. Most people spend their whole lifetimes trying to make someone else happy, but they never make themselves happy or know what it takes to actually feel true joy, because they never had a true and honest relationship with their soul. But yet and still, they would still want to be successful, still want to have friends, still want to be in relationships, but they haven't done the one thing for themselves yet. Well, this card is saying that you need to really find your bliss before you imagine that you know what your bliss is. If you have a lot of money, imagine that you know what your bliss is because you're in a relationship. Bliss is a very spiritual thing. There's nothing beyond bliss. But the only way we can find bliss is by following the soul over a long period of time. One might ask or wonder, how does one have divine rights and become a divine king and, have power, spiritual power? There's only one simple thing that you need to do. You need to follow your soul consistently. There is no trick. There is no payment plan. You didn't make no good investment if you invested in your spirituality. You were scammed and you liked it. You were scammed and you liked it. The only salvation is following your soul in the present moment, because our memories of the past, even our knowledge and our wisdom, our scholars, the people that we love, and that outdated information that doesn't serve us in the now times, but we love them anyway, destroys the present, because the solution for the present is within you and it's for you, but you don't develop a true and loving relationship. I'll talk about more about this tomorrow. Now, even though I'm pulling cards and doing different videos with different types of styles, it's all the same conversation that I'm having. And the reason, and me specifically, I am coming from a portal and dimension with the angels and the saints. And I'm the type of person, I pull cards because I can just make shit up, right? But the cards let me know what these energies want to specifically talk about, because the main important thing that we need to fully be aware of, whether we know it or not, and we should spread this message throughout the rooftops, is that the spiritual world and the physical world are happening simultaneously. So your ability to feel impulses from the ancestral realm, the spiritual realm, the angelic realm, and the demonic realm is very high and very probable. Now, if you do not have an awareness of your soul or awareness of the spiritual world, because you think it's mumbo jumbo, then 10 times out of 10, you're suffering from a possession of some sort, which is hallmarked by emotions. Emotions are equated to the sea. Now, what does that mean? That means that you could build a house. You could build a life. You could dress in the best tailored suit. But if the sea decides to do a typhoon and flood your high-rise apartment, it wouldn't matter. The sea doesn't care about the logic and the things that are being built. The sea is very chaotic and the sea is very powerful. So, once again, we're talking about the magician. We're talking about you utilizing your spiritual power, understanding the power of conception, the power of intention, the power of impulse, the power of following your soul, knowing that you have a soul and working with that energy, taking your life into your own hands, because the most important thing that I will ever wish to convey to people is that 0 and 1 are two separate but identical numbers, but they represent the same thing. When you add 1 plus 0, you get 1, but the 0 doesn't disappear. The 0 is still there, it's just understood. As long as you add 0 to 1, that 1 is unchanged, but it's a function nonetheless. The 0 representing the invisible spirit and the 1 representing your human vessel means that you have no limits. You have perfect power. But the reality is you are letting your memories and your past destroy your present bliss and present spiritual abilities. Memories in the past destroy the future, because now you're not able to perceive the future and present without emotions. What are those emotions? Anxiety, false expectations appearing real, fear, things of that nature. Now, it's very important that if you find yourself in relationships, or you find yourself in situationships, or if you find yourself with a sneaky link, or if you find yourself with a baby daddy, or if you find yourself with a baby mama, if you find yourself dating someone, if you find yourself in the talking phase, if you find yourself in a long-term relationship, if you find yourself married, you need to establish peace within the union. And the peace is the energy that exists underneath the surface, the truth of the relationship, not the like, it's so many people right now that are not being loved for their whole self. They're trying to fit themselves in the image of their partner. The girl that you dating want a rich nigga, so you acting like a rich nigga when you not really a rich nigga, and then you wondering what's stressing you out. The man you dating really wants a feminine woman, but you like to crush beer cans on your forehead. And you out here trying to be all dainty and prissified, and it's not who you are. Now, I'm not saying that that's cool, because I'm not fucking with no girl that crush beer cans on her forehead. But at the same time, you should want to be that for yourself. Or, once again, we're in the realms of understanding our partners. We cannot judge our partners. We cannot hate our partners. We cannot dislike our partners, because that is a projection. It's a projection because we refuse to understand the people that we choose to cohabitate with. The Two of Swords is ruled by Libra and the Moon, our subconscious and our relationships. So when you alone, that is not peace. That's you being a coward. That's you being afraid of going further within the realms of the spiritual journey. Part of the spiritual journey is Libra in relationships. But you can't ever think that you're going to be in a relationship and you are a whole thing of chaos because all you have is memories in the past. What do we know about memories in the past? They don't do nothing but destroy the future. They don't do nothing but destroy the present. You feel good about your memories, but you are a walking fire hazard because you're just a destructive person, because the thing that is happening now is not important to you. What's important is the old shit that you can't get back. So it's people right now mad at the past, and in this moment, they can eat some booty, eat some full-on groceries right now, but they mad, right? Going to sleep mad, angry, when they really should be eating some groceries. And the reason why we are angry in our relationships, friendships, companionships, business partnerships, the reason why we are angry is because we are like children that refuse to understand another adult that is perceived to be free to make its own decisions. But the mind has a way to say, yeah, but, but that but is disturbing the peace of the present moment and is stopping you from becoming the magician. It is stopping you from channeling the intuition of your soul in the present moment because you're reflecting on the past where you did not know this truth. You didn't understand and overstand the truth of the spiritual world. And then you look back on a time where you didn't know, and you shaming yourself and then projecting that energy on others, talking about how the world is fucked up. No, the world is the world. You fucked up. And Saint Germain said, keep an eye on California, but your state will very soon be giving out checks. Think about how the stimulus checks came. You never gave them your social security. You never gave them your routing and account numbers, but somehow they knew and they just sent money. That was a test run. But the big deposit is coming. It might be something connected to a major bank collapse, a major financial market glitch, to whereas they have to reset and start the system and give people money. Now, what we must understand about money is that it's a symbol, it is a token. So the same way as some people might invest and grow money, some people might spend it and waste it. So we're not looking at it as a solve-all. We're just letting you know what's happening on the spiritual war side of things. We are winning the spiritual war, and the spoils of the war is coming very, very soon. So, and I want to talk about our grandfathers. So, in reference to the war, you know who fights in wars? Knights, okay? The Knight of Disc and the Knight of Swords, okay? The Knight of the Mind, the Knight of the Earth. And I'm telling you, these things are connected. Whoever you think you are in this mundane sense of the world and life, that's not who you are as a whole being. That's only a fraction of who you are. In reference to who you are spiritually, you are something much greater. But I also want to talk about uh, doing offerings and setting up altars for your paternal grandfathers. This is why these cards came up. When we talk about knights, when we talk about queens, when we talk about princes, when we talk about princesses, we are talking about actual energies and entities, things within ourselves and actual people. So this is representing our DNA, patrilineal lineage, which is at war, and they need supplies. They need food. They need water. If you got some Nerf guns, get your kids some Nerf guns, right? It's wartime. And so using your creative imagination is generally how we win the war, which is a simple thing, right? But think about how much that creative imagination is being stifled by social media, entertainment, TV, things like that. To whereas we're so caught up in the technology that we're in our humanity, for one, and two, we can't even perceive the spiritual world at any level, not even our ancestors. So if you have a mind to perceive, if you have eyes to see, if you have ears to hear, your grandfathers, your Oguns, and your Obatalas are really needing some supplies and the imagination that the war is won. See, the problem is, as the war is going on, Black people don't even realize that the war is taking place. What used to happen is that, like, say for instance, the Gulf War, the Afghanistan War, these was all spiritual wars that manifested in the physical plane, but we also had cognizance of it. Now, if you ask a random person, like, we knew Saddam Hussein, we knew Osama bin Laden, and these were figureheads that represented our creative imagination, to whereas we are defeating these quote unquote bad guys. We not really fighting nobody or doing shit, but it's the collective spirit. Now the difference between this war, or let me stop talking about that type of shit because that's what got me banned the last time. But I'm not going to talk about what's happening now, but do your Googles and do your searches. But then also, you can understand that that's just a manifestation. What happens on earth is a manifestation. So what happens on spiritual represents the causal. And so the Knight of Swords is telling you to separate from your human life and human circumstance. The Knight of Discs is saying even if you have to move and relocate. So these cards talk to you on many different levels. And I'm going to reiterate those levels before I get off this live because it's very important. You know, these ancestors, they're really like on my ass to do these videos and to speak what I'm speaking, regardless if I'm being banned or blocked and all of this type of shit. Because if two people decide to feed their ancestors tonight, that's saving millions upon millions of energies and ancestral lines. Because the reality, if you're not being told to feed your ancestors, to even think about it, to do research, to do an altar, set up an altar and put up pictures of your granddad and put some toy figurines of guns on the altar. If you don't do that, then they don't have the things that they need to fight. Now, creative imagination to melanated people is like 1/4,000,000th. Like, it's so powerful. It's more powerful than atomic energy. It's like the primal substance of all substances, your imagination. But most people don't even practice and understand it. They'll ignore it. Your ancestors fed you when you couldn't verbalize that you needed milk. Your ancestors changed your diaper when you couldn't verbalize that you needed your diaper changed. They did that for you so you could be here today. Now, when they transition to the other world, they can't communicate to you like I'm communicating to you. But just like a baby can't communicate to an adult like I'm communicating to you, at a certain point, you just have to use your common sense. And you also have to remember that the spiritual world runs congruent on top of the physical world. And the things that you need, like, does it make sense that you need water? Or you just drink it? Some people say it's bad to drink water and they need to drink coconut water, right? And they don't drink water. They only drink coconut water. Some people say, I would never drink coconut water. I live in Barbados and I drink fresh juices off the tree. And so forth and so on. There's some people that say, you know what? I drink Pepsi. It's many different things that many people say. But the reality is that you can think anything. Because this is imagination. Now, the question that I ask you is, why would you think negative when you don't even have to think negative? Why would you challenge? Because bliss is not a negative thought nowhere to be found. It's a perfect understanding, and it's usually in the midst of an action. It's like you think about something and you do it. That's bliss. You sit back, think, what can I do next? And you do it. In that moment of actually doing that thing, that is bliss. Sometimes we'll just sit back and just think. And those thoughts is based on the past. Sometimes we'll learn, but what we're learning is based on a time that won't ever come again. So it's just a bunch of shit that fills our brain. But think about this moment right now. If you can't wrap your mind around this moment right now, then develop a relationship with the invisible part of you as you go to sleep. Understand that nothing in this world makes sense. None of it makes sense. But there is a system. There is understanding. And through that understanding, you'll gain understanding. And maybe the next person won't understand what you understand, but that peace and that bliss is going to be much different from thinking, memories in the past. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, of course, with Hood in the Morning. Just wanted to do a late night read because this message was on my heart. And I got to wake up in the morning and actually do a lot of shit. So it's going to be like a Hood in the afternoon. But at the same time, I will see y'all tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll talk more about spiritual transformation, understanding the spiritual world, because the spiritual world is happening right now. Ashe to all the angels, Ashe to all the demons, Ashe to all the ancestors, Ashe to all the gods, goddesses, entities, ghosts, animal spirits, native spirits, foreign spirits, elementals, fairy spirits. Thank you for not giving up on us. But our eyes are slowly opening, and give us a little bit more time. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective.